For many people, getting a 9 to 5 seems like a dream, especially when you get out of college and there's so much pressure to get a job. When you do get your first job, it's really exciting. It's your first real adult opportunity where you can apply your degree and your expertise. And when I got my first salary position as a videographer and editor, I was absolutely stoked. I was so excited. But for me, the feeling quickly faded. I felt like I was getting stuck in a routine. I was feeling exhausted. I felt stuck and trapped financially because if I wanted more money, I couldn't get it. You're trapped in that salary that you have. And I felt like I was losing control over my life. I was going to my 9 to 5 and I was just coming home absolutely exhausted, too tired to even clean my room or do anything. I just literally wanted to go to bed and do nothing. One day I had enough. And I started planning my escape route. I wanted to do full-time freelancing, and I didn't really even realize that I was beginning my so-and-so entrepreneurial journey at this time. I just knew that I needed to get a bunch of side gigs, video freelancing side gigs, to the point where it could be enough that I could quit my job. Of course, eventually these occasional side gigs turned into consistent gigs. And when I did quit my job, there was no safety net. I literally was leaping into the abyss. I did have some consistent work coming in, but I knew it was time to quit when I felt that rather than pouring all of my energy every single day into that 9 to 5, I felt that it could be better invested into myself and the business that I was building. There is no safety net. There's not. And you're gonna have to accept that. At a certain point, all of the energy spent working at your 9 to 5 gives you little time and energy to focus on your business/side hustle. You have to make the jump at some point if you want that side hustle to grow into a business. So let's get into the steps that it takes to leave your 9 to 5 and grow your side hustle into a business. The first thing, and you probably hear this all the time, is like mindset. It's all about mindset, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what does this really even mean? Well, I'm gonna tell you. There's really 3 aspects to the whole mindset thing. The first thing is you need to switch your mindset from no one is gonna buy this from me to who will buy this from me and where can I find them? That subtle shift in language changes absolutely everything. People want to spend money on something of value. If there's other people doing what you want to do successfully, that means there is a need for it and people will buy it. The second thing is the patience mindset. You have to realize that it takes time. Pick an idea and stick with it. That doesn't mean that the idea and the execution is going to evolve over time, but pick a business and stick with it. It's going to take a long time. Nothing will happen and then everything will happen. And the third thing is the tenacity mindset. Before you begin, you have to accept that it's going to be hard. And that hard doesn't always feel good. That feeling of stress and tired and not feeling like it and wanting to quit, that's all normal. That's what difficult and hard feels like. I just accept it, and I think accepting it makes it easier. Step 2 is finding an idea or a need in the market. And there are a lot of needs in the market. Let me list a few. Photography, video, dog walking, cleaning, landscaping, roofing, marketing, ghostwriting, web design, tutoring, stylist, designer, accounting, coach. Find where there's a demand in the market. And at first it's gonna feel like there is no demand because you don't have a foot in the door and you literally don't know anybody. But as I said earlier, if there's other people doing it successfully, that means there's a need for it. Don't let your lack of connections deter you from trying. So step 3, you need to build your portfolio and skills. If you're looking to grow a service-based business, so in my case, I have a videography business, you have to offer the service for free because you need the experience. It's like, you know, when you're telling a story and it doesn't really land like you thought it would, and it's like, oh, well, you just had to be there. Same thing for learning. You have to be there. You can't just read about it in a textbook or something like that. You have to do it. Once you do it, you truly understand it. Once you experience it, you truly understand it. Building your portfolio is very important because you'll get better because you're getting more experience, and you'll be able to gain projects and clients under your belt that you can market. Because it's like you have to let go of your ego a little bit because you have to get the experience. Building your portfolio is really important. Don't miss opportunities to build your portfolio, even if you're doing the work for free. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna get better because you're getting experience, and you're gonna have projects, clients, client reviews under your belt, and those are really, really important. You want as many of those as you can. Step 4 is begin to build your brand. Building your brand takes about 2 months. And for me personally, at this point, after I built my portfolio, I did not build my brand quite yet. But if I was to go back, I would have built my brand at this point. And now I will explain why. Because when you have an established brand, it's easier to get clients and customers. When you have a brand, whether you're a personal brand or whether your brand is like a separate entity, you seem more legitimate and you seem more reliable. And brands and businesses make promises and they follow up on those promises rather than, just some Bob with a lawnmower showing up at your door. So people will trust you more when you are conveying yourself as an actual business. So what does this entail? Having a business card, having a business Instagram, having a logo, colors, fonts, brand identity. Do not skim over this part. Oh my God. This is what I did at first. I made my own logo. I did my own colors. I kind of just did everything myself and it was all over the place. And this was before I had any experience with branding, because now my business actually offers branding services. But this is when I had no idea. It did not look good. And I didn't know that it didn't look good. I ended up working with a graphic designer and she made my logos and she did my brands and my fonts. I'm in love with it. So with all of that being said, if I could go back in time, after I was done building my portfolio, I would hire a designer, a graphic designer, logo designer, and I would have them do my branding. I know, seems like a lot, but it really is the best investment you will ever do. It's the foundation of your brand or business. It's your baby. Do not skip over it. Do not. It's like, would you go and build a house to go live in right now? Probably not. You would hire someone to build it for you because you have no idea how to build a house. Same with a logo and a brand. Unless you have experience with it, you don't know how to do it. There's a lot that goes into it. People can tell when you did your own logo on Canva. It's really, really obvious, and you want to go get that taken care of. So at this stage, you need a strong brand identity, like I said, logo, colors, fonts, have an Instagram. I would just stick with one social media at first as well. I would stick with Instagram. Don't worry about a professional website yet. You can just start with Squarespace or something else, whatever resonates with you the most. Let's move on to step 5. Which is marketing your services and brand for a low price. So we're done with free. You now have your brand, you have your portfolio under your belt, you have that mindset. Now we're into the marketing stage. In the beginning, I suggest going to networking events, just meeting literally as many people as you can every single day. Online, it's really, really hard because think about getting a random DM, there's no face to it. There's no personality, people can ignore it. But in conversation, it's they can see you, they can get to know who you really are. You can make a friend, you can make a connection. And that's what really, really launched my business, was making connections with people. Not handing a business card, but becoming friends with people in the business world. My intention when I first started going to networking events, I was yeah, I can't wait to tell everybody about, what I do, handing out my business cards. But then I quickly realized that that's pretty ineffective because you're going to a networking event and everybody is trying to do that. Don't go to the networking event with the intention of handing out business cards. Go to the networking event with the intention to make as many friends as you can. My number one piece of advice for that is prioritize listening over talking, because people love being listened to, they love being validated, they love being heard. So just go there with the intention to be friends with a bunch of people, and that's how you're gonna make the most meaningful connections, and that's how more people are gonna wanna help you. So meet literally as many people as you can. And like I said, nothing will happen and then everything will happen. And for me, it was going to that one event where I met one person. That person led to another person, led to another person, and here I am now. At this point, when you're marketing your services and your brand, your goal is just to get as many gigs as you can. If that means still offering it at like a lower price, that's fine. Like, at the end of the day, that's gonna benefit you more from not doing it, because that's a connection. That's another, once you have the finished product, that's something that you could market on your portfolio. You're still getting better, you're still improving. Obviously decide if something is a complete waste of your time or not, but still don't be too on your high horse, okay? The goal in step 5 is getting experience, getting better, building your network. And here's the thing, is it might seem like you're doing things for cheap, but at the end of the day, you're the one who's winning, because you're improving, you're building your portfolio even more, you're building your network, you're building your experience. You literally are winning even by doing something at a low cost. You're still in the very baby stages. Don't have such a narrow mind. Online, there's like a few different methods. I know people that like they'll DM people with like higher followings to like repost their stuff, and you'll probably like have to pay like a repost fee or something like that. I personally never did that. I found hubs that were specific to my niche. So for me, that was like production gigs on Craigslist. There is also this website called Production Hub. On Facebook Marketplace, like wedding video, like just like other things. And I would just post on there, I would look on there. I think that this process for me, it lasted for about 1.5 years, where then I felt like I could evolve to the next step, which I will get to. Realizing that marketing your services and your brand for like a low price, it's gonna be about a 1.5 year process. You have to get better. You have to gain the experience and build your network. And networking is a marathon, it's not a race. Also, networking is about farming, not hunting. And this is really important for growing your business. When you're farming, you know, you're planting seeds here and there that eventually blossom into flowers and trees. So realizing that this part of marketing takes time is key. And once you feel pretty established, then you can go into step 6, which is increase your prices, get a website, and make contracts. So hopefully at this time you're making some decent money and you can invest in a website, which I will say, if you're doing with a professional web developer, it's like $2,000 to $3,000. Totally worth it. Because when you have a legit website, again, it even makes you look more legit. Think about if you're walking by 2 stores and one store is super run down versus the store that's like super well kept, it's clean, it's nice, it smells good. Think about your website as your virtual office, and think about like just how legitimate it makes you. Compare your website to like a store in the mall and how much you trust a business based on their appearance, because appearances actually do mean a lot in business. So when you have a legit website, you're gonna look more legit, people will pay you more money. With people being able to pay you more money, people will sign contracts with you. And that is really key here into growing a business, is getting that consistent income. Because when you're at that point of the beginning stage of the business and it's just a few clients here and there, I like this landscaping analogy because I feel like it's relatable, but rather than just mowing Bob's lawn once in a while, get a 12-month contract with him and have him on a contract. For me, that looks like I do social media management and video production. So rather than doing a random gig for a client once in a while, I have a 6-month contract with them where we have shoots scheduled every month. I'm managing their accounts every month. And with that, I know that I'm gonna at least make money each month. I'm going to be able to survive, and I can be secure in that, and I can actually begin to operate like a business when I have expected, anticipated income, which doesn't happen until you have contracts. And once you have contracts, that's really when your business will really start to feel like a business and start taking off. So, in conclusion, you have to remember and accept that a quick fix to success doesn't exist. It will feel hard, and hard doesn't feel pleasant. It sucks, and you'll never feel like it. Mindset is really the biggest thing, and you need to realize that it's fully possible to do things that you don't feel like doing, and it's fully possible to do things that are difficult. It's possible. You have to break through that mental barrier that you've built for yourself when once you're faced with something that's difficult, that you stop and you back away. It's very, very possible to do difficult things. The more that you do difficult things, the easier it gets to do difficult things. And that's not to say that the difficult thing becomes easier. It just becomes easier to do things that are difficult. I hope that made sense. It's gonna be hard at first, and taking that first step is really, really difficult, but I think the biggest thing for me is just realizing that I'm never gonna feel like it. And if I'm waiting until I feel like it, it's not gonna happen. So with all that being said, good luck out there, and feel free to reach out to me if you want any further advice. But it was lovely chatting with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.